if I want to be known as a speed bandit, I might as well start early, eh? Hey, peeps. I just got my Simagic set up here. Very excited to give it a try. Alpha Ultimate from the Do It All bundle, thanks to SimMotion. P1000 pedals, inverted, and my first rig, and you don't even know how difficult this has been. I am currently sitting on a beanbag chair of all things, because my seat's not here yet, but doesn't matter. I'm excited to get this started, and it seems to work well enough. Got a little bit of support from some pillows I threw behind my back, and we call it good. So, just like my old setup, consistency might not quite be there yet, but we're making progress, and I'm super excited to try this out, upgrading from the T300 series. Nothing too crazy. On my old setup, just one of the classic desk rigs, and I wasn't planning to go this big when it came to my upgrade path, make this big of a jump right away, but when I saw the Black Friday deals, I just couldn't say no. So here we are, and I'm excited to give it a try. Man, talking to a camera is freaking weird, I gotta say. Alrighty guys, it is time, and I am stoked. Let's see if I remembered which button I hit. I did. So this is the first race I ever did, actually, in ACC. Going to league race with the GT Meister League, I believe is what they were called. And I came in completely fresh, had never done even really a race in ACC before, and I jumped into the Nissan here at Valencia. I had a really good race, actually, all things considered. It was quite an enjoyable time. So I figured, why not go ahead and come back? So let's go ahead and get out here on the track and see how this goes. First thing to note for sure is that, oh my word, it is smooth. Very large wheel, and I can definitely see what people are talking about with the amount of force required for this. It is kind of absurd compared to what I'm used to. Not even hitting full on the accelerator. Oh my word! Now, just like the force feedback in the wheel being a lot stronger than what I'm used to, the brake pedal is way stronger than I'm used to. So this is definitely pretty interesting. Until I'm being really overly cautious right now, because this is pretty abnormal to me. Oh my word. So I had heard about this idea of the wheel going light when you start pushing, plowing with the tires too much. Oh my word, I definitely need to balance out or get used to these pedals. But I really can tell that's actually absurd, being able to tell what the tires are doing specifically based on the force feedback of the wheel. That's crazy. Let's see. Get a hang of this real quick. Alright, get off the curb. I can feel every rumble. Oh, that feels so good. It's so smooth. It is actually absurd how smooth it is. I came from a T300 with a belt system, but it still felt notches in it. It might have been one of the hybrid ones, now I think about it, that had understeering quite a bit through there. It might have been one of the hybrid system that had gears running into belts, as they called it, which I don't know how else you would do it, but definitely feel it. And there's just nothing. Like, if there was no force required to move the tires, I wouldn't feel a thing. Oh man, it feels so good. Yeah, let's see if I can figure out how to do my driving a little bit better. It's just so natural to feel yourself losing grip that I really basically don't notice when I'm losing grip because I've already corrected it. That's what it's feeling like. I do have some haptics on the P1000s. But I've got them set to when traction control turns on, which I don't think is happening super often right now. Oh man, yep. Definitely fighting the wheel here, but it doesn't feel anything overkill despite the fact that this base probably could kill me if it so decided to. Yeah, you really can feel it when the wheel lightens. When you start understeering. Which makes it a lot easier to correct. And a lot more natural. Oh boy. There we go. What? I think I went the wrong direction when I changed the pressures on my tires. Now I'm thinking about it. Ah, just barely off. Apex in here. Have much experience sim racing. I'm noticing that just not being on my normal setup is making a huge difference for me. Yeah, you really there is no sensation of any kind underneath my bike, and yet going over the curb like that as I just did really felt like I just went over a curb. I felt like the wheel jumped upwards vertically in my hands, and obviously it didn't. It's not capable of doing that. Oh, that was so light. Holy cow. It's instantaneous, the shift from being quite heavy from all the force feedback in turns and fighting the inertia of the car. And then all of a sudden you start losing control, and it's just like, oh crap. You can instantly tell that something's incredibly wrong. And it gives you the opportunity to fix it. It's pretty crazy. Now I am sure that a lower capability, torque capability of wheel would have given me just the same experience, but I'm enjoying this, I gotta say. One of the things I struggled to notice before was when I could turn the wheel more in the middle of a corner because I wasn't overdoing my inputs. And that was a very unnatural feeling for me on the T300. And now all of a sudden, I can just tell when I've got a little bit more grip available. Doesn't mean I necessarily know how to use it perfectly yet. I can tell when it's there. Definitely gonna have to get this braking force down, because good lord, I am nowhere near hitting the capability of the brakes. So drift this sucker a little bit. Oh boy! This is going to be crazy on a rally setup.
Russell's fastest lap.
Well, dang. Overall, I can definitely see why people say that there's nothing better than this. There's no. While I was researching bases, I was kind of wondering, like, when's the next technology going to come out? What's going to improve this? How long has this been here? Should I not buy something really nice right now so I can buy the next technology when it comes out? But I had been told that it doesn't get better than this, and I gotta say, that seems completely correct. It just does not seem to get better than this. I can't even imagine what the difference would be between this and the supposed better bases like Simicube, and heard from some sources that VRS is better. I've heard from some sources that Invictus or Invicta, whatever their name is better than this, but I can't even imagine it. I don't see any world where, even if that's somehow better, you need that over something like this. And because the main difference between the Alpha U and the lower tier ones is just force feedback strength, I also don't think you need more than probably the Alpha itself, maybe even the Mini. I would trust what everyone says in terms of saying that 12 Newton meters is the most you need, and I haven't been monitoring the actual strength output of what mine's been doing, but I doubt. I'm already at 50% on this, and I doubt I even need that. So, definitely think anyone's completely fine doing a lower tier system. I guess the question is, how good is the feeling and the responsiveness to what's happening on the screen in your wheelbase? I don't really know much to compare to because I had a really low tier system, so I can't really tell you between something like a low force feedback Fanatec or maybe the 5 Newton meter Moza compared to this. I don't really have a good basis for that, but I think the part where I said it really felt like the base, like the wheel jumped when I went over some of those curbs, maybe that's the descriptor you need. Maybe that's something you don't normally experience on your wheelbase, and that might be the kind of reason you'd go to something like this. Now that I've done this, I'm going to go to what's been my most difficult race I've done yet. We did an endurance race with Nassers at Watkins Glen in the Ford with a rearward brake bias, and I spun that car and slid that car more than anything else I've ever driven. Slid this Nissan around Valencia a little bit for sure, but it felt controllable. Watkins Glen, that didn't feel controllable to me, so let's go ahead and compare. Alright. We are back. I went and grabbed an extra pillow so I could maybe reach the pedals properly, because I'm definitely going to need it here. Yeah, sure enough, that feels actually quite a bit better. Definitely closer to the wheel now, which feels a little weird, but we'll just have to deal with it. Let's go ahead and get this party started and see how it goes. I believe my best might have been around... Oh man, I'm so bad with remembering times. Wow, that is a lot of force going up this hill. That is actually mental. Absolutely fighting the wheel here. Definitely feeling the road effects well still too, which is cool. I'm going to be a lot more confident on the brakes here. One of the things I struggled with most was hitting a decent light braking coming into that last corner. Oh, yep, sure enough, still having a hard time out here. Definitely feels like the force feedback is a lot higher. I don't know if it's this car or this track or what, but man, I never would have saved that efficiently on the old setup. I spun out there all the time. Trail brake. a lot later. Oh. It definitely amazes me. Oh boy. There we go. Amazes me how naturally the wheel goes like in the opposite direction, so it just kind of wants to save itself. Way more stable here. Might be able to blame that on the pedals and the fact that I'm not sliding around underneath the desk, but one way or another, definitely a lot better. But oh man, this is going to be getting into workout territory quick. Nope. Once I made a bunch of comments that I complained a lot when I was doing my race here and doing my practice for the race here, that once I started to slide on that right hand corner, I could never catch it. I just slid indefinitely until basically straight afterwards. No problems getting rid and snapping back into control of the car. This. My best was like a high 145 here on the old setup. But I was mostly in the 146s. I really can feel the force amping up as I reach the edge of the grip limit on the vehicle, or at least the turning limit. Cleaner there. Almost impressing myself with how quick at times I was able to accomplish on the old system. Now, granted, I believe that almost 100% comes down to braking right now. My braking is definitely not full strength. Go. Definitely feel way smoother thanks to that extra level of force feedback. Very similar setup to what I ran, and yet I can actually keep the car under control even if I start to lose it. Thank you. And there we go. Just to see a little bit, all of a sudden I'm running my past times. Also a habit of mine, anytime I do a decent lap, to instantly screw up turn one, so still par for the course there. One of the nice things is the consistency of the wheel really helps me visualize what mistakes I'm making. Whether it's something like too much wheel input under heavy braking, or too much wheel input under heavy gas, releasing the brake too quickly. All of it is really noticeable, pretty quickly identifiable, despite the fact that I am ultra noob when it comes to sim racing. I'm able to pick it up pretty quick. Based on the fact that I'm getting a huge workout, I once again say that this is massive overkill for strength-wise, but everybody says buy once, cry once, eh? I'll definitely never need any more than this. Also doesn't help that I jumped straight from like 3 Newton meters of force feedback to the that was poor. But again, I'm not in the wall, which I will take as a success. That is alright. We will call it there. How do you feel this? I'm sweating. Quick update. Let's talk about a couple days in. I love this thing, but I tried iRacing. The Miata feels just awful compared to ACC. This is without settings adjustments, though. This tells me that you need to check your own settings if you have a wheel that's direct drive. If what I described in this video seems unattainable, then maybe it's time to buy Simagic. Otherwise, maybe keep your wheelbase or buy a cheaper, lower strength base. I'll be posting race videos here soon, ACC from my old wheel, iRacing from the new one. Keep an eye out. Really appreciate it. Later, peeps.